Hello and welcome to another episode of Modernist Mixing. Today we have another speed mix video. Now the tracks are all inserted in my template and I've kind of did the basic pattern and everything, but none of the inserts or the leveling is done. So what we have is the drum tracks in blue. We have the kick, snares, we have some additional snare mics, we have hats, two toms, looks like they're programmed or edited. We have a stereo overhead track, we have a room track in mono, we have percussion tracks, and that seems to be it. There's another FX track here and a vibra slap here. So those go to the percussion tracks. We have the bass track, seems to be live, and we have electric guitars, we have two piano tracks, one harp, lead vocals, and lots of backing vocals. Now this is the first time I'm going to listen to the song, and we'll start with the drums as usual and see where it takes us. All right, let's see. All right, so it starts with an up-tempo beat and then moves on to some like punk-like arrangement at the end. All right, let's start with the drums. So it starts with a fast-paced like 2x4 up-tempo beat in the beginning and then moves on to like a more heavy rock punk style of arrangement at the end. All right, I'll start with the kick as usual. All right, this does appear to be live. I'm not sure, to be honest. Yeah, definitely live. All right, so what I do usually is I make sure that all of the drum tracks are in alignment with the microphones are in alignment with each other. So what I do is I use Melda Auto Align and have it analyze the drum tracks and see what kind of phase relationship we have within the drum tracks themselves. So I need the kick, the snare, the bottom snare. These were recorded separately, so I don't need those for now. The hats, the toms, the overheads obviously, and the room. All right, so what I'll do is I'll turn on auto align for these tracks. I'll select the drum track that I want to have as the main reference. That will be the snare. All right, and then I'll play a part where there's a lot of stuff going on, where it's busy basically, and then let it analyze. Yes, there seems to be some kind of benefit of running the Melda Auto Align. As you can hear at the lower end of the snare, you get more body to it. All right, I'll keep this on. All right. Sometimes it doesn't help, sometimes it helps a lot. Okay, so next step is if I am to use triggers, what I do is I will copy the Meld Auto Align plugin so that any type of delay that is as inserted onto the kick track, for example, it's also copied onto the trigger track as well. Otherwise, it will get a flam effect. Okay, let's see how the kick sounds. I'll solo the kick. Yeah, a lot of snare lead, and what I'll do is I'll use the Oxford drum gate to clean it up a bit. Yeah, that seems to have done the trick. Okay, so next on I'll be moving to the, hang on, yep, I don't need a second kick track, so I'll remove that. So the snare, let's see. Yeah, some bleed on that as well. Oops, drum gate. There we go. Okay, all right. So I usually like to mix the kick with the snare to see what kind of seesaw we have. Let me turn up the volume. All right, so what I do is I don't usually like compressing the drums on the tracks themselves. I use a parallel drum compressor. Let me turn up the effects, which is built into my template. That's the parallel compressor for the drums, which is a distressor emulation from Universal Audio. So what I'll do is I'll add this. Now this does seem to be a bit clicky, so what I'll do is I'll reduce the upper mids. Okay, let's see. The snare doesn't seem to have enough body for my taste, but let's see if clipping helps. It's a bit honky sounding, isn't it? Let me just remove some more mids. Let's bring in the bottom mic as well. The snare sounds a bit narrow to me, so I'll add a short reverb and turn this track to stereo. This one, yeah. All right, let's move on. Let me check what all these tracks are. All right, let's move on. I'll first complete the whole drum kit and then see if I need to add some triggers to it. Let me check the hats. All right, sounds okay. Let me check the toms real quick. I don't think I need any gates because they seem to be either edited or added later on. So let's see. Oops. These two, yep. Yeah, they seem to be added later on. Okay. I'll just add the basic EQ, which I have built into my template. It basically just raises the lows a bit and then gets rid of the mid and then adds some treble. All right. And the transient design adds some attack, removes some of the sustain, and last we have the clipper that will increase the volume. All right, okay, send it to the parallel compression and some ambience. All right, and I'll check the level with the rest of the drum kit. I'll just slow this a bit. All right, let's get to, we don't have a tom 3 or we don't have any mono overhead tracks. I'll get rid of these. All right, so the stereo overhead, okay. Cymbals sound a bit piercing, so what I'll do is I'll add Soothe. For those who don't know, Soothe is an automated EQ that runs very well, very fast, and gets rid of all of the piercing upper harmonics and lower harmonics if you. Oops. Yeah, softens it up a bit. Really nice. All right, let me get the drums. Rooms. I don't really like mono rooms for some reason. What I'll do is I'll add reverb, make it really wide, and increase the mix quite a bit. So it will sound like this. Yeah, much better. Okay, let's hear the drums. All right, just double checking if the aligner is doing a good job. Okay, so what I think is I will need to add some triggers to the kick because it's not punchy enough, it's not low enough. So what I'll do is I'll bring up trigger and I'll look for a nice kick sample. Let's see, some nice heavy kick samples. Let's see. Nope, too clicky. Check this. This sounds like a large kick and has a sub. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the mixer. Let's increase the sub. Okay, let's see how this sounds with the drum kit. I'll do is I'll shorten these. So what you can do is you can change the ADSR of the sample, and you can set how long you would like it to ring, basically. A bit shorter. Yeah, much better. So I don't need any of the room sound on that. I could shorten this also. Exactly. Okay, it's not this mixer. I can get rid of this a bit. Let me see how this sounds solo. Yeah. Much better. Okay. Alright. Let's turn on the bus. Alright, we have claps here, don't we? Yeah. So what I have built into my template is a very basic percussion channel strip, which has an EQ that gets rid of the lows, some low-mid muddiness, and increases the high end a bit, where you might need more snap, basically. It's more geared towards stuff like congas, but it works in a lot of different instruments. So I'll increase the volume with the clipper. Sounds okay. Let's see how it sounds with the drums. Go back to the drums bus. We have a tambourine track as well. Let's see. Alright, sounds fine. Let me check the bass. So what I do is I treat the bass in 3 tracks. I copy the recording, the event, on 3 tracks. One is the low lows of my bass, which is this. Gets rid of all of the higher ends, only the low ends. It's compressed. And then limited. Depending on the bass part, I might switch the style. This was producing some distortion. Right. And lastly, I have a ducker, a duck plugin, which is sidechained to the kick. And you can see how the kick is appearing as a sidechain signal here, so I can draw the exact volume curve. So what this does is it ducks the bass, but the lower end of the bass, whenever the kick hits. After that, I have my distortion track, but it's band limited, so only the mid-range is distorted. I might change the order of this. So first I distort it, then I band limit it. And lastly, I have my treble bass track, which gets rid of all of the low end and the mid range, and then I send it to a chorus. So that's a bit too much. Just as a reminder, this was the DI bass track. Now we have this instead. So let's see how that behaves with the drums. Alrighty, okay, let's move on to the instrument tracks. So what I do is I send all of my instrument tracks that are not the bass or the drums into this bus, which is the music track. So that keys, guitars, etc. all goes to the music bus. I get rid of any empty tracks which are built into my template. Don't need these. Don't need this track. And I might need a snare trigger track, but I'll decide that once all of the instruments are in place. So let's move forward with the guitars. Alright, out of the gate it sounds a bit too harsh basically. Hang on. Now, what might work is I might add another guitar cab. Much better. Now, what this does is essentially is a bandpass EQ. So it has a weird shape of a bandpass EQ. So it's something like this. And when I add this, any nasty sounds gets filtered out, and what's left is a really nice recording of a guitar cab. I think I'll go with this. This is a smoother cab with a Royer 121 ribbon microphone. I'm particularly interested in getting rid of the higher end chaka chaka sounds that the guitarist plays. And this bit will probably need some lowering as well. I'll make that a shelf. Right, let's see what this sounds like. Same deal, I'll add a cab, which is a bit softer. Yeah, it gets rid of all of the nasty fizziness, and I'll EQ it afterwards. Let's listen to these two. All right, sounds fine. Let's check these. Same deal. What I'll do is I'll just copy the inserts of this track over to these two and start from there, because it looks like they're going to need some similar treatment. Let's check the guitars. Right. Looks like the plate is a bit too long. Dark plates. I'll yeah, much better. Okay. So what else do we have? We have the keys. All right. Let's check the pianos. You know what I'll do? I'll add a transient designer because I feel the piano is not that punchy enough. It's not like clicky. All right, so that emulates as if the piano player hits the keys a bit harder. What's this? All right, I can just go to the reverb. All right, so let's bring in all of the music bars along with the drums and the bass. Okay, doesn't sound bad. Let's check the end. I wonder if the drum gate on the snare is kind of removing the ghost notes. No, not really. Okay. All right, let's bring in the main vocals. So what I do is I have the Teletronics emulation from UAD again. So that maybe compresses a decibel or two. And then again, Soothe, that removes some of the notes that might stick out every now and then. All right, let's see. So main box is a single track, no doubles.
And go! On a kiss you super fucking spell, a little poison for the well, accelerate the reach, your life is passing by you. Poison for the well, accelerate the reach, your life is passing by you.
Yeah, the vocal reverb is a bit too wide and too long. I'll shorten that.
Oh, never mind the people that you harm, rely on superficial trying to measure nothing without somebody to lie to. Inside, here comes a surprise. You see, I see right through your ugly ass disguise, and I don't need to be unkind. Stupid fucking ugly thing that I did to deny and to probably hide my eyes, already blind to the devil you are inside. Here comes a surprise. You see, I see right through your ugly ass disguise, and I don't need to be unkind. Well, I'm thinking that I need a different view to break out from this box that I outgrew. The night is long, but the day is new, and I'm unbroken.
Sounds nice. All right, let's see. I'll get rid of the backing vocals for now, see how the vocal sits on its own.
So you and your insanity decoy, a shiny new decoy. I disappear, you're in your ugly ass disguise, and I don't need to be unkind. Is already blind to the devil you are in.
What I'll do is, because it's such a dynamic performance of the vocal, I'll cheat a bit and I'll use Melodyne. Melodyne has a nice micro that lets you kind of even out the performance a bit. So what you can do is you select all of the notes that it recognizes. So you do Control and A on Windows or whatever it is on Mac. So you use this macro, note leveling macro. So you can make the quiet notes a bit louder. I'll go around 60% or so, and make loud notes quiet. So I'll move that down maybe to 20%. So they roughly meet in the middle. All right. So I'll click OK. And let's see.
Stupid fucking ugly thing that I did to deny and to probably hide my eyes, already blind to the devil you are inside. Here comes a surprise. See, I see right through your ugly ass disguise, and I don't need to be unkind. Well, I'm thinking that I need a different view to break out from this box that I outgrew.
Yeah, sounds fine. Okay, let's check the backing vocals. So what I have built into my template is a very basic EQ. So it gets rid of the lows and the low mid range, and kind of dips around the end of the spectrum where there might be a lot of S's and they might stack up and give us a lot of harsh frequencies. After that comes a compressor, which is really soft and in the vocal style. So
And bleep, my eyes already blind to the devil.
So it's compressing around 5 dBs or so, fast attack, slowish release, and then the de-esser afterwards. So I'll turn all of these on and see if we can get away with manipulating the bus EQ and everything to get where we want to go quickly. So on the bus, I have a empty EQ, a limiter, and then again Soothe. So let's see what it sounds like.
Breaking fucking everything, fucking breaking fucking everything, just to try to escape from the reach and the pain, maintain, return the drain like there's something to gain from it. You angry little shit. Don't run, straight off. or fucking everything, just to try to escape from the reach and the pain, maintain, right on the drain like there's something to gain from it. You angry little shit.
Alright, let's see how they sound within the mix.
Run straight off that cliff, I do the bit. Except for maybe it's too late in the
I think it sounds a bit kind of low MIDI.
disappear. You're insincere and I'm unbroken. Breaking fucking everything, fucking breaking fucking everything. Try to escape from the rage and the pain, maintain, right down the drain like there's something to gain from it. You angry little shit. Don't run straight off that cliff, I do the bit. Except that maybe it's too late in the beginning of the ending phase. I gotta say I'm impressed how you did for yourself so fun the way you know how to show me you're crazy, baby. So put it on display. Now I'll be on a million miles away. I don't mean to seem unkind. I think you do. But I'm thinking that I need a different view to break out from this.
So I turned on the bus compressor. I don't like mixing into a compressor. I usually turn it on at the end and see if it makes any improvement or not. If it doesn't, I'll just leave it off. So I've seen that despite there's no drums going, it's kind of compressing around 4 or 5 dBs, which is a bit more than I wanted to. So what I do is I'll add a mix tool, which is like a gain plugin and, you know, phase inverting plugin that Studio One has. I'll remove a bit of gain and then use this to basically bring it back to where it was.
In this box that I outgrew, the night sincere and I'm unbroken. And I cry my tired eyes so I can see your biggest vacancy. I've had enough of faithful love, and now I've spoken that I'm unbroken. I disappear. You're insincere and I'm unbroken. Breaking fucking everything, fucking breaking fucking everything. Try to escape from the rage and the pain, maintain, right down the drain like there's something to gain from it. You angry little shit. Don't run straight off that cliff, I do the bit. Except that maybe it's too late in the beginning of the ending phase. I gotta say I'm impressed how you did for yourself so fun the way you know how to show me you're crazy, baby. So put it on display. Now I'll be on.
See, what it does is brings the snare a bit more into the mix. So without the bus compressor, the snare is like poking out too much. When I bring in the bus compressor, it kind of, you know, brings the snare within the mix and not so much above the vocals and everything else.
I'm a million miles away. I don't mean to seem unkind. But I'm thinking that I need a different view to break out from this.
So this is basically a tape emulation from Softtube. Let's see if we can introduce some more side harmonics.
Disappear. You're insincere and I'm unbroken. Breaking fucking everything, fucking breaking fucking everything. Try to escape from the rage and the pain, maintain, right down the drain like there's something to gain from it. You angry little shit. Don't run straight off that cliff, I do the bit. Except that maybe it's too late in the beginning of the ending phase. I gotta say I'm impressed how you did for yourself so fun the way you know how to show me you're crazy, baby. So put it on display. Now
See, when I engage this Kelvin tone shaper, which is basically a saturating plugin, it brings up a bit more of the ambience and the sides. Just listen to it.
the way you know how to show me you're crazy, baby. So put it on display. Now I'll be on a million miles away. I don't mean to seem.
Now I'll be turning on my master bus effects. So first is the Gulf Force Master. What I do is I kind of use this as a verification tool, where if it's moving too much, if it's doing too much work, I understand that the mix has some kind of problem I need to deal with. So if I play the mix, I hope that the graphical interface here doesn't move more than maybe a couple of dBs at most. So let's see how this works.
Try to escape from the region, the pain, maintain rid of the drain like there's something that came from it. You angry little shit. Don't run straight off that cliff, I do the bit. Except that maybe it's too late.
Yeah, works as much as I wanted to, so that's good. All right. Next is a parallel compression and saturation, as far as I know, tool. So what it does a 5-band multi-band compression and then feeds it back into the mix. So I have a preset that is selected tonalization moderate. I think it's from Bobcats or someone. And basically it just brings up more of the harmonics that might be buried.
In the beginning of the ending phase, I gotta say I'm impressed how you done for yourself so fun the way you know how to show me you're crazy, baby. So put it on display.
A bit too much on the treble side. Let me just smooth that a bit down.
I am impressed how you done for yourself so fun the way you know how to show me you're crazy, baby. So put it on display. Now I'll be on a million miles away. I don't mean to seem unkind. The way you know how to show me you're crazy, baby. So put it on display. Now I'll.
Lastly, I add a hard clipper to catch the peaks of some of the drums.
The way you know how to show me you're crazy, baby. So put it on.
So there's a bit too much. 5 decibels of clipping is a bit too much at the end. What I do is I switch to the wet only setting and make sure it's only clipping the tops of maybe the snare of some of the toms. Like so. Nothing tonal, nothing like the bass or the guitars or anything.
To put it on display. Now I'll be on a million miles away. I don't mean to see.
So this is quite transparent, but it gives me like almost 4 decibels of more loudness at the end. So I turn on my limiter, which is DMG's Limitless.
I am impressed how you done for yourself so fun the way you know how to show me you're crazy, baby. So put it on display. Now I'll be on a million miles away. I don't mean to seem. I am impressed how you done for yourself so fun the way you know how to show me you're crazy, baby. So put it on display. Now I'll be on a million miles away. I don't mean to seem fucking everything. Just to try to the truth I fear. You're empty, dear, and I'm unbroken. And I cry my tired eyes so I can see you're bad, yes, make it be. I've had enough of faithful love, and now I've spoken. That I'm unbroken. Yeah, I'm
Alright, the claps are a tiny bit too loud towards the end. I'll get rid of those a bit. And I kind of feel that the overheads are a bit too overbearing towards the end. Let me just soften that up a bit. Looks like we could use a tiny bit of EQ at the extremes. Let's see.
I'm thinking that day is new and I'm on your bed, yes, make it be. I've had enough of taking
sounds quite okay to me. What I'll do is I'll print the track and put a link in the description so you can download it and listen to it in your own environment. And the song is released. You can find it on Spotify. You can A/B it if you like to, and you can download the tracks off the Cambridge Multitrack website and give it a go yourself. I hope you find this valuable. If you do so, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.